Moçambique pertence a uma família? Não. Moçambique pertence a um partido? Não. Moçambique é de quem? Moçambique é de quem? Moçambique pertence aos sequestradores? Não. Moçambique pertence aos bandidos? Não. Moçambique pertence aos ladrões? Não. Moçambique pertence aos que roubam o povo? Não. Moçambique pertence aos que desviam as riquezas do povo? Moçambique pertence aos que roubam o Estado? Moçambique pertence aos que sangram o tesouro do Estado? O Estado não produz dinheiro. O Estado tem que saber gerir bem o dinheiro dos impostos. O nosso povo já paga demais. Vamos ir tirar dinheiro daqueles que não pagam nada, mas que andam a poluir o país, para tirar dinheiro para a gente financiar o nosso povo, para o nosso povo crescer, ser feliz, ser próspero, empregar outros jovens e Moçambique crescer.
Venancio Mondlane, the reluctant hero of Mozambique's democratic struggle. In the heart of southern Africa, where hopes for democracy often clash with the entrenched weight of autocracy, a name has emerged as a beacon of resistance: Venancio Mondlane. Born in the modest town of Manjakaze, nestled in Gaza province, Mondlane's life is a tale of defiance, hope, and an unyielding pursuit of justice. From the dusty streets of his childhood to the tumultuous chambers of power, Mondlane has risen as one of Mozambique's most courageous and transformative leaders, a foundation in struggle. Growing up in rural Mozambique, Mondlane witnessed firsthand the harsh realities of poverty, inequality, and systemic neglect. These experiences ignited in him a desire to fight for a better future, not just for himself, but for all Mozambicans marginalized by corrupt governance. Determined to arm himself with knowledge, he pursued higher education at the Eduardo Mondlane University, UEM, Mozambique's most esteemed academic institution. There, he studied law and political science, becoming deeply influenced by the ideals of justice and human rights. The birth of a political revolutionary. Mondlane's entry into politics was not a mere career move. It was an act of rebellion against the stagnation he saw gripping Mozambique. He began his political journey with the Movement for Democratic Change, MDM, a party that sought to challenge the dominance of the ruling Frelimo party. Mondlane's fiery rhetoric, combined with his pragmatic vision for reform, quickly established him as a rising star in the opposition. In time, his ambitions grew, and he joined Renamo, the historic opposition party that had long contested Frelimo's hold on power. As a member of parliament, Mondlane earned a reputation as a fearless advocate for accountability, justice, and the voices of Mozambique's forgotten citizens. His speeches in the assembly were electrifying, exposing corruption, denouncing abuses of power, and calling for a government that serves its people rather than its elites. In 2024, Venancio Mondlane made a bold decision to run for the presidency of Mozambique. His candidacy symbolized a seismic shift in the political landscape, as millions of Mozambicans saw in him the promise of genuine change. Campaigning on a platform of anti-corruption, economic revitalization, and national unity, Mondlane crisscrossed the country, connecting with citizens from bustling cities to the most remote villages. His message resonated powerfully with a population weary of decades of Frelimo dominance. When the votes were cast, it became clear that Mozambique had spoken. Venancio Mondlane had won the presidency, a historic moment that signaled the people's desire for a new chapter. But the victory was bittersweet. Despite the clear mandate from the people, the ruling government refused to cede power. Frelimo, wielding control over the state's institutions, declared the election results invalid, citing unfounded claims of irregularities. What followed was a dark chapter in Mozambique's history, a blatant attempt to subvert the will of the people and cling to power through coercion and manipulation. Mondlane, however, refused to back down. Declaring the results a victory for democracy, he called on Mozambicans to stand firm against the injustices perpetrated by the ruling regime. His defiance inspired a wave of nationwide protests, with citizens flooding the streets in unprecedented numbers, demanding that the rightful president take office. In cities like Maputo, Beira, and Nampula, the air was charged with chants of "Mondlane é o nosso presidente," "Mondlane is our president." The demonstrations, though peaceful at first, were met with brutal crackdowns by security forces loyal to Frelimo. Reports of arbitrary arrests, beatings, and even fatalities emerged, painting a grim picture of a government desperate to maintain its grip on power. Despite the violence, Mondlane remained resolute. Addressing the nation from his headquarters, he urged his supporters to persist in their peaceful struggle, reminding them that the fight for democracy is never easy, but always worth it. His words galvanized a nation, solidifying his status not just as a political leader, but as a symbol of resistance against oppression, a struggle that transcends politics. Mondlane's battle is not merely about ascending to the presidency, it is about the soul of Mozambique. For him, the fight represents a chance to dismantle the entrenched systems of corruption that have hindered the country's progress for decades. It is a fight for the young Mozambican, dreaming of an education, the farmer hoping for fair trade, the mother yearning for health care for her children. Internationally, Mondlane's plight has garnered attention, with human rights organizations and foreign governments condemning Frelimo's refusal to honor the election results. The crisis in Mozambique has become a test case for democracy in Africa, with Mondlane's leadership seen as a beacon of hope for other nations, grappling with similar struggles. As Mozambique teeters on the edge of political transformation, Venancio Mondlane stands at the center of its storm. His journey from a boy in Manjakaze to a presidential candidate who embodies the will of millions is nothing short of extraordinary. In Mondlane's own words, "I do not seek power for myself but for the people of Mozambique, who have suffered far too long under the weight of broken promises. This is not my fight, it is ours, and together we shall overcome." History will judge Venancio Mondlane not only by the office he may or may not occupy, but by the indelible mark he has left on Mozambique's fight for democracy. Whether he ultimately takes the presidency or remains a symbol of resistance, his story is one of hope, courage, and an unshakable belief in the power of the people.
Pensa que Moçambique é o canteiro da alface da sua prima, não é verdade isso? Mas Moçambique é canteiro de alface ou de cebola de alguém? Não. Moçambique pertence a uma família? Não. Moçambique pertence a um partido? Não. Moçambique é de quem? Moçambique é de quem? Moçambique pertence aos sequestradores? Não. Moçambique pertence aos bandidos? Não. Moçambique pertence aos ladrões? Não. Moçambique pertence aos que roubam o povo? Moçambique pertence aos que desviam as riquezas do povo.